Ladies and gentlemen, we have a guy here, one of the elders of the organizations up here. He's a guy who been in the two foundational teams in soccer here in Toronto. And it's imperative that he gave us his view of what transpired and how things originated in terms of the foundational teams, West Indies and Iere. So I'll have to ask you to introduce yourself and then give me a little of your background from whence you came, and then we'll take it from there as far as how you managed to get into soccer here. So right now, I'll just ask you for your background before you came to Canada.
My name is Ryner. I played soccer in Trinidad, organized soccer from 1954. I played in the Oilfield apprenticeship program from 54 to 59. It was a 5-year. We won most years. I know we won the last 2 years, 58 and 59. And at 59, when we finished, it had a few games to go with the men's team. And 2 of us were brought in and played for the men's team. And from that year on, from 59 to 65, we played for Texaco. And then a few of us left, and we had a team that was in SAFL. We had a team, there was a team where we lived, Hurricanes in SAFA. We went and bring up Hurricanes from senior to first class and played there until the last year I played was 1965. I had to miss 66 because I was transferred from San Francisco to Port of Spain to the head office, and I could not play soccer. I had to be driving up and down 40 miles a day. In 67, I came up here. Did not play much soccer except in the schoolyard. And the crowd of us a lot of us lived in St. Jamestown area. And Junior Parker, who was with West Indies, invited us to come and play with West Indies. And we played with West Indies. So
Can I ask what year he invited you to play with West Indies?
He came to us in the yard, but we played in West Indies. I played in West Indies 1968 and 1969. Oh. With a few other guys. I still remember some of the guys from West Indies United. But it had a lot more guys from Trinidad, and it wasn't comfortable putting all the guys on one team together. And it had some small island guys too. So we decided to form a team, and we called it Iere. A few of us, we were living in the same area, and we said, look, we could put out a team. So it wasn't the same one person or so. So we were there and always together, and we decided, look, let's form a team. And what we did, I think Carol come up with the name Iere. Tony Skerritt came up with the name Iere, if I remember. And a few of us said, what's Iere? And then he explained. Anyhow, we decided to play. We played we joined the Toronto district. We played in the 4th division. We won it. We played in 3rd division. We won it, and we keep moving up and up. We're getting a lot more guys into the club. So we had a first team and a reserve team, because you could always have a reserve team with the team. And we keep playing, and a lot more guys came, and there was a big changeover. And so some of us got older and had to give way to the younger guys. And that first year. So it was Owen Mendez and Kelvin Hart in the center, Dwight Day and Ronald Ryner the fullbacks. Alvin Thomas, Henry Convey, Alan Callender, Mine Sosa, Checky. And those are the men on that first team.
So that was the first team?
Yeah.
What, Scarrow, you ain't called Scarrow name?
Who?
Scarrow was injured or what?
Coach.
Okay. So call that team again for me, Ryner. Call the team again for me.
You mean, okay, I could remember, okay, Dwight Day, Kelvin Arthur, Owen Mendez.
Stop, call the positions. Call the team and call the positions.
Okay. Dwight Day, right defense. Kelvin Arthur, stopper. Well, this double stopper. Oman Mendez, the next stopper. Ryner left back. Alvin Thomas midfield. Miles Sosa midfield. Checky forward. Alan Calendar forward. Henry Convey forward. Ian Jones.
That's 4-2-4. That's the full 11. Who's in goal?
Is it?
Clyde?
It looked like McNeil. I'm not too sure if Mansell started the first season.
We call Ian Jones just now.
Yeah, Ian Jones was there. Mm-hmm.
There's a point that Mangi could have been still out west and coming back at certain
Yeah, he could have been in school. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Ian Jones was, I know Jones and Checky were there because they, I can't forget them. The first party we ever fundraiser was at the same 650 Parliament. And Checky and Ian was selling chips for the drinks. You can't forget that. And if the party was a success, and then I live in the building, I get a letter, you cannot get this room again, it had too many people.
From early, you guys give in trouble?
No. The security keep telling them, go downstairs, he's sending everybody. But he didn't get bribed.
Yeah. And that party was when? 70 or 71?
70, somewhere there. Before the season.
What was the objective of the club then?
It was a club we played soccer regularly in the division. We didn't meet West Indies a lot that time because they were there before us, so they might have been a club or so higher, a thing higher. But it was that on Saturdays. On Saturdays, we would go and play. Well, not only the members, they had guys going to U of T and so, right there, that ground facing Hart House. That was a Saturday live, and from there, we go on to Young Street, and there was 12 center glass for beer. You know that walk over to Young Street after we done play, and it used to be fun.
Did you ever hold position in Iere or West Indies?
Hold a position?
Yeah.
When I restarted, like Miles was the president, like McNeil was the secretary. I was his assistant, but I was also in entertainment and fundraising. So I used to like plan the dances and different things. So
yeah, I remember you were a printer. I remember you printing flyers for me too. Yeah, you were
the flyers and so.
Yes, I remember that. And okay, so what was your colors? You remember your first uniform?
Yeah, I ordered them because I used to see this place, the sell jersey on Langsdowne when me, Roland, we going on the bus to go to St. Clair to play. And it was red jersey with white sleeve. I went and ordered them there and get them. And that time, like I used to carry them and wash them. You didn't give the jersey. They didn't have their own jersey at the time.
What color shorts?
Huh?
What color shorts?
White.
White shorts?
Huh?
What
White shorts.
And
huh?
socks. And socks.
It could be red. I carry red and white or something.
60, seeing that Iere was formed in 70, right?
Well,
1970,
yeah.
right? And you start going up and winning divisions.
Yeah.
Knowing that there's a history with the Contrast Cup, I need to ask you now, did Iere play in the Contrast Cup?
In the Contrast Cup?
Yes.
When it started, I know we played. When they were invited to play in it, yes. We played, and there was West Indies, there was Barbados. I can remember those 3 teams.
Okay. What you thought about the Contrast Cup, the implementation of the response to it, was it, I guess it was only the black teams, right?
Yes.
What you thought of that competition?
Well, it was nice to meet other teams, but it was something that I think that we could just play on Saturdays. A lot of games were played right by Hart House there, U of T.
Now, we're in the TND. Iere is in the TND. You're playing the Contrast Cup, which is just a cup. It's a knockout competition. then came the Iere Tournament. The club used to go to Brooklyn to play around Labor Day. And then after that, subsequent to that, we end up with the Iere Tournament. So you're in entertainment, so you are integral part of the tournament committee then?
Well, yes, because I used to have to see about some that the league tournament, we need to go see about the dance hall when it was out.
Okay, so what you thought of the tournament, how it was progressing and stuff, because it was one of the marquee tournaments in the community.
Well, it was nice, and we had people used to look forward to coming to that tournament every year. A lot of folks, they say, so when it's done, they say, you all don't have a tournament this year? But no, it used to be a nice crowd at Lamport.
Yeah. Well, it started at Brockton, not so you recall when it was at Brockton?
School blast without oh yeah, a few years we played at Brockton.
Yeah, before we went to Lamport. Now the next thing is some of the landmarks we covering for this in the history of Toronto Caribbean soccer is Flemington Park. Well, let's do some landmarks in Iere before we go to Flemington Park. One of the landmarks, winning the Console Cup. Did you witness the game? I think earlier you was mentioning the goal scorers to me. So
I did even when I wasn't playing, unless we had a second division team or some game or so after I stopped with the top. I was at all the games. Like I could remember Eli goal, I could remember Lodi goal in Lamport.
Okay, all right. And how you felt as somebody who was an original member of the club, and besides you guys winning the division to go up and get promoted, this was a big thing.
Yeah.
And in the Cultures Cup, how you felt? How was that celebration for you?
I enjoy all those things. At that time, I was playing in the reserve or the second division. We used to play second division games and so.
So
the game and that was the best thing within that.
Yeah. Okay. Now, moving on from that, we obviously I have to ask you about Flemington Park because that's another landmark in the history of Toronto soccer in the community. Did you ever play at Flemington Park?
Yes, I did. Did I ever play?
Yeah.
Could you not remember you and Foxy stamping me on my knee?
No.
In Flemington Park?
No. You always had a bad knee, so I don't know why you're looking to blame me and Foxy.
We did a Saturday
in
Driftwood in a tournament. It's Ostic played with us, was Stanley King had a team. And the next day we played, I go to kick up and both you on Stampede and Foxy stamped me on my right knee.
I can't remember. Is that on Flemington Park or did that happen on Flemington Park?
Yeah.
Who you were playing for? Who you were playing for?
Huh?
Who were you playing for?
Okay, I played for a team. Ostic played with us too. A fellow by the name of Stanley King had a team. He didn't play, but he used to have a team. When we played, we won the tournament up before the Saturday.
Wandos. Huh? Wandos.
Or whatever I can't remember the name.
If Ostic played, it was Wandos. That's what David and
we played in Flemington Park.
In the league, in the actual league of Flemington Park?
Huh?
In the league itself? If you call it Sticko played with Wandos. Once he left players, he went and played with Wandos.
Well, maybe one. I can't remember the name of the team. Stanley King, but he never played.
Well, I'll challenge that stamp on the knee, though. I don't know. I can't remember nothing.
Both of you all catch me.
At the same time?
Yes.
Couldn't even remember you playing, but if you call Sticko, you're probably drafted with Wandos. So let me ask you now, what you thought of the league, seeing that you played in the league now? And I know you were giving me from a player in the league and the atmosphere of the league. And then I'll ask you what you think the league, because I know there was reservations from Iere management about the league. So let me ask you first what you thought of the league, because I remember what year Wandos came in.
It used to be fun, and a lot of people like the idea that they go out and see these games, and it's something like contrast again, but a little bigger, and it was run by Bunny.
Okay. So and then from a Iere founder point of view and one of the foundation members, how you perceive Flemington in the operation of Iere, because the perception is like it was a problem. So let me hear your version, because you hinted it sometime earlier when in the
No, well, what I see wasn't like, as I say, some guys prefer to go on in the limelight in Flemington, and I have a game. I'm looking for men.
You really was that a revelation, or that was a fear? Because I can't recall Iere having a game and there was a conflict of games in Flemington.
Oh, the only thing I can't say whether this was the first team or what, but I know we had game and guys were playing. In fact, we are trying to study with somebody who started with IU, and all of a sudden some guys did just stop playing with IU and went Flemington.
Okay. Well, what it is some guys, there was a rule where if you're playing in T&D, you couldn't play on Flemington. That came around 79, 80, right? So that means the guys like Loney and Auburn and these guys were challenged almost to have them to make a choice. And their choice was to stay and play with Iere. I think that year, the only person broke that was Loney down to the late stages of the season, and Miles wasn't too pleased about that. That I recall. So maybe that's what you're talking about. You know, I'm talking about it was a rule where T&D came out. The perception from Flemington was that it was almost like an anti-players rule, because players was the only team was going to be affected by that, because we were really the team that had most of the T&D players, right? And the record would show that we had to change personnel. We as in players had to change personnel and bring in younger guys because we lost some of the Iere players. So that just to clear the record, you know, out there, that really transpired. Now we're moving into, were you aware of the Malvern League? Or before we go to the Malvern League, let's stay with the Iere thing. 1984, when the team under Roland, under Roland leadership, were you around when the team were going undefeated?
Yeah.
Were you watching the games at that time?
Watch every game, because sometimes they might have had a reserve game and I might have gone and play or so.
Yeah, but the streak was going on for quite a while. It went to 21 games.
Well, I was at the game.
So my question now is, when it started getting late, all around 15 without a loss and 16 and going up, how were you thinking in terms of, as a foundation member of Iere, watching this kind of feat happening within the club? What was your feeling?
As it reached, I didn't get that.
It was okay. Knowing that the team Iere was 16 games and 17 games undefeated, Iere club.
Yep.
What was your thinking at the time? How you were feeling towards that type of record?
That's when I got to Tristan. I started to come to all the games. They were playing quite well. To go undefeated in that league. But sometimes you would have a bad day. It wouldn't be easy.
Okay, and well, I don't know if you realize that we lost the last game of the season.
Yeah, I was there that day.
All right. Give me the feeling.
Yeah.
How you felt?
That's it. Shucks. It would have been so nice to not lose.
Okay.
That was in Sinclair. That game finished.
That's right. That's right. That's right. So, based on all that information, were you aware of the Malvern League? So another league we have to cover. Yeah. What you thought of the Malvern League?
We used to play on McLevin or whatever it is. They have two fields somewhere there. Yeah.
So you watch that league too?
Some do.
How you compare that league to, let's say, a Flemington?
Well, Flemington would get, okay, they had good players because I guess they less teams, so they had good players. But Flemington was established compared to that.
Okay. And to the dregs of it now, let me ask you, seeing that Iere not in existence right now, did you have any indication based on the Consoles Cup, you guys playing and got the club promoted from 4th to 3rd to 2nd to 1st? One time the club went up to Premier. You were around when the club went Premier on the Junior Parker, right? Did you see along the way the tournaments start dwindling after coming from the 1st division and the Premier, the almost undefeated season? That was 84. The club stopped in 90, which is 6 years later. Could you see any indication along the way where the club could have been in trouble for existence?
It had changed in personnel, and it had, I guess because at that time, I was with my son playing out in Willowdale, out in the West End. So at the game that I was, it wasn't the same.
Okay, so the difficulties for you being hands-on on the club, what's the difficulties that you encounter that you think wasn't resolved, which looked like it was continuing, something that you wasn't comfortable with that could cause the demise of the club? I want to see if you had any indication or if this thing just happened.
It has things that I see, okay, look like the game we played against, a game we played in Esther China Stadium, when it had a lot of confusion. I think Loney was the coach then. There was a guy that did not, he was not supposed to be playing or something, so, and Loney put him in, Auburn say, I'm not saving, and the ball passed, then they put a forward in the goal. It was a lot of confusion.
Okay, that's the last year, and that's the last year you're talking about, you know.
Oh, it was when letting goal, you had to put a center forward in the goal, and also because they were leading 2-0 and come back and lose. I remember Reeves on the other team. That the first time I see Reeves play.
Oh yeah, so that means you recalling that game because you calling names in that game. There's no question that you remember in that game.
That was hurtful, boy. They were leading 2-0, and for some reason
so and that's if you call Loney as the coach, that's the last year.
Auburn gets vexed when he put this guy on the field because they decide, look, he wasn't to play.
Okay. So any other factors that you seeing? We try to bring back the name and went and put a old boys team over 35 team in the Malvern League. And we were successful. But again, for me, I don't know if we were really supported or if the guys got older like you guys, because you were always there. If it's one person, to me, because I mean, we used to go down by your family business down off of Mortimer there. Yeah. And you were always one of the old guys who was fun. You know, you was always easy and talking to Sammy. And talking to Sammy and these guys in West Indies, which is the original time, they also have you as a club man. So all I'm saying is that within that time, you've been around. It's kind of hard for you, I would think, to see the club not functioning because they have you as a club man.
Something I had to learn to accept it. And like I move on from there, look, I'm sure nobody know that I went and coach in the North York Men's League.
Okay.
We league 5 years straight.
Well, what's the name of the team?
Huh?
What's the name of the team?
You ever hear of Naples United? Of Naples.
Well, I know Gay
You see this?
yes.
This is the 2 trophies. We win everything.
Okay, and that's what, the Scarborough League? And that's the Scarborough League?
No. It you know that park by Dufferin there?
Yeah, that's Roslord.
Yes. They had a league there.
Oh,
And
MJ,
they had Jungle from by Lawrence. It was the North York League.
yes, that's it.
And they did the
Yeah. So Ron, I wanna thank you for giving me the time today as one of the original members of West Indies, the first club, and in Iere, the second club. I want to thank you for the information, the valuable information to make this whole project a success.
and it's nice having you.
All right.